Yeah, man! Serious times down in Johannesburg. Watch the fire now! Listen! The horns! Oh, yeah. The stage was set, the lights were low for the big G20 show. Leaders coming from across the sea to talk about the world economy. Johannesburg was dressed to impress, ready to clean up the global mess. But before the first gavel could sound, a different kind of noise started going around. Now everybody talking about Cyril's big blunder. He lied in the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. The Kinayansi politicians step up to the mic, spewing out words that nobody like. They open their mouths and the fire jump out, insulting America, scream and shout. They're telling tall tales, they're telling the lies, right there under the African skies. And the media catch it, they run with the ball, they amplify the noise until the whole thing fall off. Talking about Cyril's big blunder, he lied in the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah. Watch the house of cards, they're tumbling on. Yeah, blow it down, what a mess. I look at the president sitting up high, I see that little twinkle in his eye. He cracking that smile, that devious grin, while the diplomatic ice is getting very thin. You think the eagle gonna take that heat? Nah, sir, they won't take a seat. No Uncle Sam at your Josie party. You chase them away, you're acting too hearty. It's Cyril's big blunder, he lied in the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah, yeah, they staying away America now come to Johannesburg today. You set the house on fire, man, what kind of plan? Cyril, wipe that smile off your face. It's a disgrace. No, sir. No, sir.
Life goes by, whether you realize it or not, in a flash. And next thing you know, you're 90, if you make it that far. And what are you going to regret not doing? What do you regret? What chances you could take? Reasonable chances. Make the most of it, get the most out of it. We're not all beautiful, we're not all ugly, we're not all thin, we're not all fat. We're not all straight, we're not all gay. We're all something. And who you are is who you are. As long as you're not a jerk, you'll be who you want to be. But the point I'm trying to make is life, be in it, folks. You do something. Make something of your life. Don't sit back and wait for life to take you, or it just comes to you. You just accept it as it comes. Set goals for yourself. Set challenges. Go out and make it happen. My entire life, that's what I've done. My entire life.
Well, first off, right out of the gate, my humble apologies for my tardiness this evening. Let me do a sound check. I was busy working from about 7:50 onwards this evening, so that's 2.5 hours ago, researching news. I don't usually do news on the night owls. I've been adding a few news stories, but the topic tonight is the horrible situation in Switzerland, where 47 people have burned to death or been crushed. I'm not sure which. At a nightclub, and it's a terrible story. But I was dealing with that, and then some news came to me that I've ignored for a long time, so I put together a video that's over on my other channel, my original channel, America's Pulse with Chris Wyatt, about more Somali-linked fraud, this time in Maine, a place I've told people about for several years, that a number of Somalis suddenly rocked up in Maine, a state that's 99% white, and it's freezing cold in wintertime. Why were Somalis there? Well, because it was a state ripe for fraud, a state of leftists who make things too easy for people to defraud, trusting that people in America are honest and forthright. But we've discovered that there are certainly a fair number of Somalis that aren't that, including a guy who ran for the governor of Jubaland in Somalia as an American citizen. Yeah. You can't make this stuff up. So I had started working on that video, and I was editing it, and I didn't even see the time. Suddenly it was 17 after the hour, and I was keeping you all waiting. It's very inconsiderate of me. It was not my intention to make you wait. My apologies for that. My humble apologies. I tip my cap, and I apologize for being tardy. It was avoidable. It's just that I got wrapped up in a breaking news story. As a one-man operation, I don't have a news bureau. I can't have 80 people bringing me coffee to the news desk and editing videos and putting things together for me and giving me a countdown to the hour. I handle all of it, the bookings, everything. So sometimes I lose track of time. So my apologies for that, folks. It's entirely on me. Good evening to Chesigi, work people, CB, Petrus van der Linde, Kevin, what's going on? Rohan Anakruga, Martin van der Merwe, Sean Nadia, Denise Bellingen, Carlos Freda. What's going on, Carlos? Konrad Gedenhuis, Pat Schultz, Ingrid's Inspirations. Joe Texas is here. No internet issues, Joe. I was just rudely tardy. That's entirely on me, man. That's entirely on me. I apologize, Joe. Thank you all for your patience. People hung around. I appreciate it. Some people probably gave up. I understand that. But nothing wrong with the internet, just something wrong with my internal clock. I got distracted. I got deeply involved in making that video. So same here, night, day flip during the holidays. We'll need to sort that over the weekend, says Kevin, okay? Federal Reserve just pumped $106 billion New York standing repo funds. Well, why did they do that? Cleode Polo, we do $106 billion into the Islamist-in-chief city? I don't think so. Let's stop that. Eds, good morning to you. Didn't sleep for a full month as the Keytruda kept me. Yeah, my mom took that stuff. Yeah, haven't been able to switch night and day. Okay. Forced to sleep in daytime as circadian rhythm is out, says Maze. Okay. Okay. Phoenix, hello to you. Work people. You guys chat a lot while I was gone. Kept yourselves busy. That's good. Amazing Yacht Destinations is here since we started. Thank you. Good to see you there. Carl Fonda here says religion of peace. Exactly. Yep. Virtual Western Cape. Jules S.A. How are you? And who else we got here? A lot of Spanish now. I don't know how. I know you remain sane with so little sleep. We would have warned the U.S. about Somalia's 40 years. Should have just asked the South African. You didn't need to warn us, Virtual Western Cape. We're well aware of it. You see, the problem you don't understand, guys, is that people at the federal level know what's going on with Somalia and with South Africa and with Kyrgyzstan and with Uzbekistan and with Myanmar and with China. We know all these things. I worked in the intelligence community. We know it. The problem is we elect morons to represent us because they promise to give us things. Not me. I don't vote for people because they promise to give me things. In fact, I voted for people who promise to take things away. People promised to take away federal spending, promised to take away the Department of Education. Yeah, I voted for that. But most people tend to vote for people who give them things. Tax breaks. People give them handouts. People give them food stamps. People give them welfare. People give them government jobs that are guaranteed and you can't fire them. That's who they vote for. And we get morons like Adam Schiff. Yes, and Eric Swalwell and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and Susan Collins and a whole bunch of other retards who work in our Congress. And at the state level, it's even worse. So we know full well what's going on with Somalia. We've known forever. We knew before Bill Clinton ever was dumb enough to continue the mission of the United Nations after George Bush sent people there and had a humanitarian mission, which was over in 3 months. They should have come home. We never should have had a Black Hawk Down. But Bill Clinton was a moron, too busy getting his knob slobbed on to actually freaking make foreign policy decisions. Phoenix says, no need apologies. We know when we have to wait, it's for good reason. Oh, it was. It wasn't because I was just screwing off. Elon Musk warned that there are more fraud in the U.S. welfare system and all fraud in the private sector. I don't know about that. Because they didn't uncover it. But there certainly is a lot. Tulips Yellow, welcome to you. There's Hendo, man. You guys can blame Hendo. There's the link. Hendo's the one that reminded me of that story, which I've been ignoring. So I finally made a video on it. Let's see how it's doing. So I'm on the channel. If you're not a subscriber to that channel, folks, go become one. Got 20 views on it. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please become one. It is America's Pulse with Chris Wyatt. So go check it out, folks. America's Pulse with Chris Wyatt. So here you go. This is where that channel is. Please become a subscriber. I shed subscribers like viral particles because YouTube shadow banning. But I'm going to see if I can't get some more effort into it this year as we defend what's going on in America in our 250th anniversary. There's the video. So that's the link to the channel, and Hendo just gave you a link to the video. So bookmark that and become a subscriber if you don't mind. Really would appreciate it. Yes. Future looks bright. Well, I hope it does look bright. You've got a map of South Africa on your avatar, and you have good thoughts. That's pretty cool. Here you go, folks. Pure cane sugar, jeje, en Mexico, Coca-Cola, the real thing. There we go. There's a couple. How have you seen that video? I just put it up. I just put it up. How have you seen it? You must be talking about another video. Adam Schiff is dangerous. He is a lunatic. He is absolutely dangerous. He's a liar. He's a Faraya. He's a Lügner. He's a Betrügner. That is Adam Schiff. He is a weasel of epic proportions who should have been charged for criminal activity when he lied about I have the proof. I have the proof. Donald Trump is a foreign agent for the Russians. I have the proof, but I can't share it with you. It's classified. Well, you can't share it with us because it never existed. And Adam Schiff is now a senator. Can you believe that? These liars. This is the problem with this country. Just like we pick people like this, not honorable people. We pick people like this. Adam Schiff looks like crazy lunatic. Give me a second here, folks. I got to listen to something very quickly before it gets too late. It's 10:30 here now, and somebody sent me something. It was as I was going live. Let's see if I can find. There it is. Okay, I have a voice note. Just a short one. Give me a second here. Sorry about that. It was very important. Okay, that was sorry. There's so much going on at 10:30 at night. I mean, it just doesn't end. That was the Veterans Organization. That's for the Stoltz family who are coming up Friday. So I was just trying to coordinate. I did offer to pay for a night of accommodation for them. They were just telling me that it was a bit pricey. They're just regular folk, and what I explained to them is I appreciate that, but putting you in a safe place with a family of 5 is not easy. So anyway, so I just suggested I'll see what they say. Trump had a good laugh. He said, didn't know how Adam Schiff's neck could hold his... It is a mystery. 2 defining factors saw this year. The U.S. relations worsening further at the end of the year elections. Yeah, a lot can go right or wrong. Hey, Fonz, where you been, man? People keep talking about you left and right, and we haven't seen you. Thought something happened to you. thought something happened to you. By the way, folks, for the interview earlier that I did, I put a banner up for it. Now that I've got a photograph of those two, I've got a banner up there. Also updated the refugee list. I've done at least 20 interviews with refugees from South Africa. It's probably more, but 20 that I've got in the list. But the Ben and Lynn interview in Milwaukee has its own image now. So let me see if I can find it very quickly in case you didn't see it. So Daba group, here we go. This is where it's at. It's going to be here. So yeah. So this is the image I made of these guys. So I hope you like it. Ben and Lynn in Milwaukee. So tell me what you think of this. This is what I put up for that, because I had just kind of a generic thing. So that's the Lynn image now. So you can see them in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I thought it was pretty good. I like the color scheme on that one. So these fraud scams, you think Trump will remove medical benefits for refugees? Well, medical benefits for refugees have already been constrained by the big, beautiful bill. A piece of legislation the House and Senate voted on, sent to the president, he voted on it. They've already been impacted. So what you get has already been affected by it, but this won't affect any further. Did you enjoy the interview, Phoenix? I did. And then I was kept on for about an hour after that, so it was pretty good. Yeah, I like the banner too. I like the color scheme on that. And that's actually Milwaukee in the background there against Lake Michigan. So anti-American, anti-freedom. Who is that? What did Holden say? Oh, John Brennan. Yeah, Gina Haspel. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then what about Victoria Newland? Oh, here's another one. Fire brigade was at our apartment building an hour or so ago. Something minor. Now my wife wants to join the fire brigade. Fonz. Oh my gosh, Fonz has got a Sharks avatar. You know what? The Sharks are probably going to beat the Lions this weekend. They're probably going to beat the Lions this weekend, and you're going to get excited and think they actually have a team. You actually think they're going to have a team, man. They don't. Oh, that's funny. Oh, my goodness. She can join. I'll just wear my... Anton Mulder says the coldest weather they've ever experienced. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Graham Roberts, you're welcome. I'm sure what you're thanking me for, but are you thanking me for dissing on the Sharks? Sharks strike. Yeah, man. Sharks strike. Indeed, indeed. I got to start sorting out some of these songs, too. Sharks Bite, sorry. Sharks Bite, Stormer Strike. Sharks Bite. Where's my Sharks Bite song at? There it is. Here it is. Oh, yeah. Sharks Bite. Not very hard.
From the East Coast winds to the Western Cape, legends rise and stars take shape. Curry in the air, the Sharkies run wild. Tidal waves crashing rugby style. Sharks bite, they never let go. Try after try, they steal the show. Champions roar from Durban shore. South Africans lead forevermore.
All right, sorry, I can't do the Shark song right now. I just cracked open this can of root beer, which I've had in my fridge for some time. It says it's good since 1898. I think I might have had it in my refrigerator since 1898. Ooh, that does not taste very good. Yeah, nasty. Sharks. Fawn says best song ever. Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole. Yep. I've been doing better since Fonz threatened to stop supporting them and started watching it. You know what? You're right, Phoenix. There is a direct correlation when Fonz threatened to not watch the Sharks anymore and just stick to ice hockey. But look, he'd be well positioned for ice hockey. The Colorado Avalanche are rocking it, man. The Colorado Avalanche are the team. Last time I checked a few days ago, they are the team to beat. Let me see. Standings here. How the Avalanche doing? The Winter Classic is happening in Florida. Why Winter Classic in Florida doesn't make any sense. Colorado Avalanche are 30 wins, 2 losses, 67 points. My goodness, that's just insane. They're on a hell of a pace there. See about the yes, I did. I talked about that report earlier, Joe. That was in my news report earlier today about that church, which is deconsecrated because the Dutch are heathens. Yep. Ugh, it tastes terrible. That's almost as bad as that stuff that Arctic had me drink. Ugh, man. Ugh, boy. Root beer brands with pure cane sugar. Well, they're not easy to find except for local bottled stuff. Yeah, I don't know why I have this bar because I think I was desperate when I bought it. I must have bought this. It's probably pre-COVID. Join me now as I imbibe with this beverage pre-COVID. It's bad. It's bad. There was a Major League Rugby team out in Colorado, but they left the league, so there's no longer a team in Colorado. Closest one to him would be in Utah, which is just on the other side of the mountains, but it's not a short journey to get there. So closest one to him is the one that Courtney McBride enjoys. Courtney has been busy. I think he got engaged. He has not been showing up much lately. Denver wins a game, we get free donuts. Well, here, if the hockey team scores so many points, the baseball team so many points, you get like 30, 40% off a pizza at Papa John's. You know, you get free things, different places. Pretty cool. On your hips forever. Ugh, that's disgusting. You know, I'm not having that on my hips. Anyway, yep, I know one thing. I'm hungry. I had a good meal earlier, but I'm still hungry. It's just hungry. All right, let's get to the headline for tonight, folks. 132 people currently here. A&W root beer has got that frosty mug taste. It does indeed. Yep, I like A&W root beer. Also, there's a couple local ones that are bottled here in Pennsylvania. They're really tasty root beer. Barks, I just happen to have it. I forget why I got that. I don't even remember why, but that's pretty disgusting. Yep. You grew up in A&W root beer. Oh man, I love A&W root beer. What's Iron City Brew? Is that the one or something like that? That's a good one too. Right, let's get to it. That's Amazon. I don't need Amazon. A docking station. I don't need that. This is what I need. Here we go. All right, let's get to it, folks. So, situation in Switzerland is out of control. About 47 people killed in this New Year's fire. 115 others injured in a fire New Year's party. Crans, Montana is known for sweeping vistas stretching from the Matterhorn to Mont Blanc. Authorities will be looking into exact cause of the fire and if safety standards are upheld. Scenes of panic from outside the station show the crowd in a panic as the blaze broke out. One witness said he heard screams and saw people lying on the ground in the aftermath. It's just absolutely horrific, folks. Absolutely horrific. It's just insane. Insane. Let's play this video from CNN. What the hell? People are watching the fire. Didn't they try to help people get out? I mean, I wasn't there, but that's strange. My goodness. U.S. Embassy in the Swiss capital, Bern, says deeply saddened by the fire. Called on U.S. citizens in Switzerland to contact their family and friends about their safety. Jeez. The fire originated from sparklers on champagne bottles, witnesses tell CNN affiliate. Wow. Two witnesses have told CNN affiliate BFM TV that the deadly fire at the Crans, Montana was caused by sparklers placed in champagne bottles. There were waitresses carrying champagne bottles with sparkles on them. They carried them close to the ceiling, which caused it to catch on fire. One waitress was standing on another waiter's shoulders, and the bottles and flames were just a few centimeters away from the ceiling. Once the ceiling was on fire, within about 10 seconds, the entire nightclub was on fire. We all ran out screaming. When we turned back, there were flames. At least 200 people were inside. My goodness. Pictures from inside the Constellation show some of the damage caused by fire at the popular Crans, Montana venue. 10 helicopters and 40 ambulances were mobilized. Emmanuel Macron, searching for relevance, says that Switzerland has France's full support. Gee, thank you for that, Emmanuel. Stay out of the way. But the Crans, Montana actually banned fireworks ahead of this year's New Year's celebration. Lack of rainfall for more than a month meant the risk of fire was extremely high. Jeez. Unbelievable. Fire at a Swiss alpine resort leaves about 40 dead, more than 100 hurt. Stupid people. Dozens are dead and over 100 injured as fire swept through the Constellation bar in the Swiss alpine resort of Crans, Montana. Valais Canton Police Commander Frederic Giesler said during the news conference the work is underway to identify the victims and inform their families. 13 of the wounded were Italian citizens. 6 more Italians remain unaccounted for, according to Italy's ambassador to Switzerland. Jeez. Axel Clavier, a 16-year-old from Paris who survived the blaze, described total chaos inside the bar. One of his friends died and 2 or 3 are missing. He didn't see the fire start, but he did see waitresses arrive with champagne bottles with sparklers. He described feeling like he was suffocating. Say he initially hid behind a table, then ran upstairs to try to use the table to break a plexiglass window. It fell out of its casing, allowing him to escape. He lost his jacket, shoes, phone, and bank card while fleeing, but I'm still alive, and it's just stuff. Yep. 2 women told French broadcaster BFM TV that they were inside when they saw the male bartender lifting a female bartender on his shoulders as she lighted a candle in a bottle. The flames spread, collapsing the wooden ceiling. One of the women described the crowd surge as people frantically trying to escape from a basement nightclub up a narrow flight of stairs through a narrow door. Jeez. 3 of the wounded are being transported from the hospital in Switzerland to Milan's Niguardia, Italian Civil Protection Agency said. Swiss President Guy Parmelin, speaking the first day in office, said many emergency staffers have been confronted with scenes of indescribable violence and distress. I wouldn't call it violence, I'd call it horror. It happens fast, guys. It happens fast. Fire spreads quicker. Anyone that's worked with fire knows you don't screw around with it. You have moments to react to a fire. Moments to react to a fire, regardless of the situation. Some much worse than others. Of course there's no fire suppression. The club is probably in a building that's 100 years old with a narrow entrance. I've been in these clubs. I can only imagine the Canopy, which is a bar I used to go to in Bad Kreuznach, Germany, was underground, and it had one narrow entrance in and out of it. And I can just imagine hundreds of people trying to get out of there, fleeing at the same time, freaking out. Yeah, I would always be at the very back where the DJ was playing, where the dance floor was, and it's about 30 or 40 meters to get to the other end and get out the entrance. I can imagine the fire starting in there, everybody dying. Yeah, I never thought about that. Pretty scary stuff. Foreign tourists among 47 confirmed dead. At least 47 people are believed to have died, 115 injured. Dozens severely injured. We can expect victims of foreign nationalities, local police chief Frederick Giesler told a press conference. Italy's foreign minister Antonio Tajani, after being in contact with Swiss authorities all day long, confirmed the death toll is 47. Many of the victims were teenagers, the youngest is 16-year-olds who was being treated in a hospital. There's a sparkler. That was people outside. 3 disaster trucks, 13 helicopters, 42 ambulances, and 150 emergency responders rushed to the scene. We read 40 before. None of the dead have yet been publicly identified. The area around the bar remains closed during the investigation. Video from the same club in May 2024 shows glamorous waitresses carrying champagne sparklers through the bar. Dozens of pyrotechnic devices and bottles could be seen lining tables in the basement and a capacity of 300 people. The fire triggered a flashover where all the combustible materials in a closed space reached their ignition temperatures at the same time, causing an explosion. It led to a panic stampede as attendees rushed down one exit staircase to try to reach safety. Man. Switzerland will hold 5 days of mourning after 47 killed in the fire. The country's president described the scene as one of the most traumatic events in Switzerland's history. Drama of unknown scale. Young lives were lost and interrupted. Switzerland owed it to these young people who had their projects, hopes, and dreams cut short to ensure such tragedy never happens again, added the president. Witnesses said the fire broke out at 1:30 in the morning in the town's La Constellation bar after sparklers and flares were brought in on champagne bottles. Ulysses Brozo, 16, instructor at a local ski school, said earlier in the day that several of his friends were at the club at the time. Total tragedy. Video posted by survivors showed the blaze taking hold immediately above the bar. Other footage showed grim scenes of orange flames billowing from the ground floor lounge, several people motionless on the street. Injured dispatched to hospitals in Sion, Lausanne, Geneva, and Zurich, and later to Italy. Some of those survived were severely injured. They had suffered serious burns as well as damage to the lungs. Lausanne University said it was treating 22 patients between the ages of 16 and 26. 8 of the people they were treating were resuscitated on arrival. In other words, they died en route. It'll be a long and intensive process lasting weeks, even months for them to recover. Investigators now have the grisly task of identifying the victims from taking DNA samples from their families. Some of those caught up in the fire were visiting a ski resort from neighboring countries. Crans, Montana is a bustling resort town of 10,000 people perched high in the Valais Canton of the Swiss Alps with a view across the valley to the famed Matterhorn. It's popular mainly with wealthy Europeans. But La Constellation was more of a cheap and cheerful bar for younger people and tourists. The venue was set on 2 floors with a bar on the main floor and narrow stairs leading to the basement nightclub below, where he speculated it would have been possible for people to become trapped and incapacitated from smoke inhalation. He said shisha pipes were available to smoke. What people are saying is that charcoal in the shisha could have... Well, no, that's not what it was. Yeah, there's the Crans, Montana. La Constellation opened in 2015 and could accommodate up to 300 people with another 40 in a heated space and a terrace. The owner of the Day clothing store across the street from La Constellation said the venue was a popular destination for younger people, including the children and her friends, who would often drink there from as young as 14 years of age. Town relies on a largely European clientele who come to ski, eat, and in several Michelin-starred restaurants and shop at Montclair and Louis Vuitton stores. 3,000 hotel rooms and 10,000 residents. It's pretty crazy stuff. 16-year-olds. Well, yes, it's Europe. Jean, Bob, John, it's Europe. That's how Europeans are, man. You can drink alcohol in France and Germany when you're a kid. Western Cape, they're hectic with fire systems. Never walked in a place that doesn't have fire expression. Well, the Western Cape is not 500 years old either, 1,000 years old with buildings, people. Now, I don't know if that building was only open in 2015. The club was. So, well, I can only imagine Loretta trying to get out of there. Maze is buffering. Let me see if it's me. No, Maze, it's just on your end. Just on your end, sorry. Pretty crazy stuff, folks. A lot of business even says do not follow health and safety regulations. Yep, well, a lot of people get away with that. My late mom's apartment burned down. The wind blew a curtain over a candle. She said the curtain was engulfed in seconds. She had no time to react. Entire flat gone. Yep. Doesn't take long. No fire suppression, no fire resistant materials. Yeah, lots of questions. All the fire makes sense. Sparklers, yep. It's crazy. Must have been a hellish scene. People stumbling out in flames, yep. Rhythm of the night, what are you talking about? Yeah, pretty crazy stuff, huh? Is there any way the Democratic Party can be designated as a domestic terrorist group? Yeah. Well, we don't know there were no fire extinguishers, Carl. We don't know that. We don't know. We don't have evidence of what happened inside there yet. It's going to take some time. And it's going to take testimony from survivors, and if any of them are foolish enough to make video and get out, maybe that'll help. Yep. We don't know that there were no fire extinguishers. But this is hardly the first time this has happened, folks. Hardly the first time. Let's take a look back at some of the more famous bars, nightclubs, and music venues that have had fires. In December of this year, a fire ripped through a popular nightclub in Arpora village in India's Goa state, killing 25 people. In March, a fire ensuing stampede at a crowded Pulse Club in North Macedonia killed 63 people, most of them young revelers. Injured more than 200. Set off by a pyrotechnic flame that engulfed the roof of the club. Sound familiar? In March of 2025. April 2024, Blaze the Masquerade nightclub in Istanbul trapped workers and employees while it was closed for renovations, left 29 people dead. In October 2023, a fire started a nightclub in the southeastern Spanish city of Murcia, spread to 2 other clubs, left 13 people dead. In January 2022, a nightclub in Sorong, Indonesia's West Papua province, burned after 2 groups attacked each other inside a building. 19 people were killed. Sorry, folks. All right, January 2022, a blaze at Live's nightclub in Yaoundé killed 17 people. December 2016, 36 people died in a fire at a warehouse in Oakland, California that had been converted to residence space for a club. October 2015, a blaze broke out in the rock band's pyrotechnics display at the Collective nightclub in Romanian capital Bucharest, killed 64 people, 190 injured. January 2013, a fire, more than 200 people at Kiss nightclub in the city of Santa Maria in southern Brazil were killed. December 2009, 152 people died when a blaze broke out at the Lame Horse nightclub in Perm, Russia, when indoor fireworks display ignited a plastic ceiling decorated with branches. Does that sound familiar? That's already 3 fires from pyrotechnics related to New Year's Eve that lit roof fires. January 2009, indoor fireworks display after New Year's countdown ignited a blaze in the Santika Club in Bangkok, killing 67 people. September 2008, a fire killed 44 people at the King of Dancers nightclub in Shenzhen, China, when a stampede broke out after a fireworks show ignited the ceiling. That would now be 4 times that we know that the ceiling was lit on fire. December 2004, Buenos Aires, a fire killed 194 people at the crowded Cro-Magnon Republic Club after a flare ignited ceiling foam. That would now be 5 times that the ceiling's been lit on fire. A fire at the Stallion nightclub in West Warwick, Rhode Island, U.S. killed 100 people in February 2003 and injured 200 others. In January 2001, a fire at a cafe in Dutch town of Volendam during New Year's celebration killed 14 and injured 200. December 2000, a fire was blamed on a welding incident, killed 309 people at a disco in central Chinese city. In October 1998, an arson attack against an overcrowded youth hostel in the Swedish city of Göteborg killed 63 people and left 200 injured. In March of 1996, the Ozone Disco Pub in Quezon City, Philippines, killed 162 people. Students were partying, marking the end of the academic year. In March of 1990, an arson attack at the Happy Land nightclub in Bronx Borough of New York killed 87 people. It started when an angry man with his girlfriend threw gasoline on the club's only exit and set it on fire, then jammed down the metal front gate so people were trapped. December 1983, a fire at a Cala club in Madrid, Spain, 78 people dead, 20 injured. 77, a fire at the Beverly Hills Supper Club in Southgate, Kentucky, killed 165 people and injured more than 200. November 1942, the deadliest nightclub fire in the history of the United States killed 492 people at Boston's Coconut Grove Club. The fire at what had been one of Boston's foremost night spots led to new requirements for sprinkler systems and accessible accidents. April 1940, a fire ignited decorative Spanish moss draping at the ceiling of the Rhythm nightclub in Natchez, Mississippi, killing 209 people. The windows have been boarded up to prevent people from sneaking in. 492 people killed at Boston's Coconut Grove party. It's not new, folks. This has been going on for a long time. Yeah, no night clubbing for my child, no rule. You got it, Phoenix. Just teach your kids fire safety. Exactly. Yeah, also teach, here, this is what you should know. And as a young man, I didn't really fully appreciate this when I was young and in Germany, but I picked up on it pretty quickly, thank goodness. When you enter an enclosed space, look for the exits. It's just a smart thing to do. You never know when a fire is going to happen, when an earthquake's going to happen, when a building's going to collapse. Look for exits. It's not the first thing we do. It's not natural to do that, but look for the exits. Look for the ways in and out. When power goes out or power is in jeopardy, do not get on an elevator. Take the stairs. All right? Understand how fire works. Understand how fire works. Get low. Your best chance of survival is to stay low. The smoke, the toxic fumes, they're in the air. The oxygen, if there is any, is below that layer. Crawl out if you can. Drop to your knees and crawl out. Exactly right. If you try to run through it, you'll inhale the stuff and you can pass out quickly. You want to dodge a Boogie Dad? We'll show you his 90s best moves. Exactly. That's crazy, folks. So, yeah, here that was the ones in around the world, but let me focus on the ones in the U.S. especially. So, Station nightclub fire in Warwick, Rhode Island, February 2003. Fatal fire resulted in 100 deaths and over 200 injuries. Look, that's just, how do you get out of that? That's insane. Look at that place. We went out on a Thursday night to listen to music, drink some beers, and have a good time, and a quarter of those people didn't get to go home, ever. Survivor Linda Sarin, who was severely burned in the fire, told CBS News in 2021. The blazing night when the band Jack Russell's Great White took the stage and 4 large pyrotechnics were set off, sending flames up the walls and rapidly across the soundproofing foam. The nightclub owners had installed foam along the club's walls and ceilings to combat noise complaints, but the foam was highly flammable and the club did not have sprinklers installed. The exits were also safety issue. Inspectors' records showed that 3 months before the fire, the owners had been cited by a local fire marshal for having a secondary interior door by the stage that opened inward, which violated regulations. They were told to take it down, but it was still up the night of the fire. And this is the really sick one, the Happy Land Social Club fire. In March of 1990, the fire at the Happy Land Social Club in the Bronx borough of New York killed 87 people and injured dozens more. The cause of the fire was arson. A man, Julio Gonzalez, poured gasoline on the floor of the entryway and ignited it following a fight with his girlfriend. The fire moved so quickly that a few victims still had drinks in their hands while others died hugging or holding hands. The social club didn't have sprinklers, fire alarms, or fire exits. It was operated illegally at the time, as the city had ordered it to close because of various building and fire code violations. In the wake of the blaze, New York City tightened fire safety enforcement and stepped up efforts to shut down illegal clubs. Gonzalez was convicted of murder charge for many of the deaths in the blaze. And then this is the big one that cost the most lives. The Coconut Grove nightclub fire, the deadliest nightclub fire in U.S. history, occurred on November 28, 1942. 492 people died, hundreds were injured. The cause was never officially determined, but the fire started in the basement and spread rapidly through the lounge and up the stairway that acted as a chimney. Many patrons were trapped inside because 2 exit doors were locked and a single revolving door at the front entrance was jammed with people attempting to flee the blaze. The club was filled with more than twice its legal capacity when the fire started. Combustible soundproofing material at the club was blamed for the rapid spread of the fire. The tragedy led to changes in building codes and standards, such as requiring revolving doors to be flanked by outward open standard doors, as well as medical treatment for burns. The impact of Coconut Grove are already forever enshrined in regulation, safety practice, innovations, and knowledge that have already saved countless lives, says Boston Mayor Michelle Wu at a ceremony marking 80 years since the blaze. Man. Future looks bright. It's almost impossible to drop the floor in a club when you're packed like sardines and everyone's freaking out. You'll be trampled. Well, yeah, future looks bright. That's a fair point. And that's why I say you should keep an eye on where you're at in a club. And we get round up in our WhatsApp group for wanting fireworks completely banned. They mock us and say it's only 6 hours or half an hour depending on celebration. Yep, and for those missing fingers, hands, or are blinded by pyrotechnics, and those whose home is burned down because of negligence or misdeeds with fireworks, would argue with you and against those idiots. Yeah, so much culpability. Well, future looks bright. In emergency, most people don't react well because we never believe it will happen to you. Also because you don't plan for an emergency. As a soldier, I spent my life preparing for emergencies, and I've dealt with them. I've hit black ice, and the only reason I didn't total my car is I didn't panic. It's easy to panic, too, even if you're well trained. I've hit black ice. I've been thrown from things before and didn't get trampled and run over. Yep, I've also been in fires before, unfortunately. That doesn't mean I'll react the right way, but what I'm saying is that people need to rehearse and train for these things. Smalley fraud issue brings new meaning to the biting the hand that feeds you, more like the hand, foot, arm, and the kitchen sink. Right, Sean Nuttier? Yeah, you can't say anything with the smoke. That's right. No, that's a problem. That's why these inspectors, they have to take their job seriously. If the place isn't safe, then they have to get shut down. You have to spend the money. So, for instance, at our club, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exits, none of which are blocked, all of which can be escaped, all of which in the building you can get out, 6 exits, all of them. Now, the problem I have is idiots at the club keep putting chairs and tables in front of one of the emergency exits in the back room by the ballroom, which is one of the most important exits. And I constantly have to tell people to stop it. It's a fire safety hazard. It's a citationable offense. And fortunately, I'm able to stop them most of the time. But the bottom line is that it still happens. It really irritates the piss out of me. Stupid people should wear signs. No, we have 6 exits, all of which are, you can exit them. Well, 5 of the exits you can exit at any time. Only one of them. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 6 exits. Only one of those exits is locked permanently, and that would be the main entrance. So you can't get out that. There are other exits. And there's plenty of space. The ballroom is 30 meters wide, and about 30 to 40 meters deep. And there's an exit out the back of the ballroom, off the stage. There's an exit immediately outside that, double doors. We have double doors to stop the spread of fire from the kitchen. We have double doors to stop the spread of fire from the ballroom. Yep. So, yep. And all our doors open the correct way. Emergency drills all the time, various scenarios, but guaranteed our staff will not react the same. Well, you're right, future, but if you don't try, then you won't get the result for sure. Yep. And I have people who are freaking out and keep blaming us because we don't have an AED. Well, our AED, those stupid things, the batteries don't last very long. That's the emergency resuscitator. We're not required to have one, but we do have an older clientele because of veterans, and it would be ideal if we have one. But the battery and the machine costs $700. And we were taking thousands of dollars out of our pocket to keep the place open last year, and people just screwing us, saying bad things about the place, lying about it. And then people come back and like, well, you don't have an AD. Well, I think it's more important that we actually have fire extinguishers and a functioning building than an AED. Fire extinguishers are critically important. Most people die from toxic, because if you don't have an AED, you can use chest compression. You can use ways to resuscitate someone with CPR. You need multiple exits. You need multiple exits regardless, Carl. Remember when I was in school, we used to have fire drills. Exactly. We had them in school too. I mean, that's how we did it, right? We grew up, we had fire drills. We did them all the time. New one's rechargeable, $1,500. Well, isn't that special? $1,500. You got $1,500 from my veterans organization? In fact, that's what I'm going to do. Fundraiser for new AED. That's what we'll do. In fact, let me look that up. Look at Amazon and see. Port by AD defibrillator with home automatic use service suitable defibrillator. None of them say rechargeable. I'm looking, they don't say rechargeable. $2,000 for one of these things. These are outrageous what they charge for these. Absolutely outrageous what they charge for them. Anyway, we'll look at that later on. Not expensive? Yeah, sure, Carl. Not expensive. Yeah. Why don't you come be the treasurer for the organization? Tell me it's not expensive. It's an outrageous amount of money. If someone trained in CPR, they can achieve the same thing. 5 years at club door, only had one exit. That's crazy, Hermanus. You're lucky to be alive, man. You're lucky to be alive, my friend. You are lucky to be alive. Your dog's usually fine this year, but they ran inside and Jupiter hid under the bed, and I didn't know. Topsy was on the bed, didn't hours. Frame was in the most logical place. Yep. Yep. Right. So what was I looking for here? I was looking for something else. I wanted to see what's going on with that. So 56 views on that video. No comments? That's interesting. Nobody's commenting on it. I would have thought there'd been some comments on it. No comments. So this is the channel here. I'll show you guys real quick. Somali link fraud. For those of you that don't know the channel, it's America's Pulse. That's my original channel, which has been around since, what, 2006 or something like that. Let me see what it says here. Yeah, 2006. 2.15 million views. That's not true. I had 2.5 million before I even took the channel. They took my views away. What kind of crap is that? Anyway, so there you go. There's a bunch of my interviews from back in the day. There's the beekeeping one. Sia Khaleesi, 71,000 views. SEAL Team 6, 126,000 views. Wow, that was a long time ago. Let's check that out. Largely unnoticed by much of the world, but an American was taken hostage in Niger, where he and his family lived on a small farm there. And that American was Philip Walton, 27 years of age. He was abducted on the 26th of October, 5 days ago. And this apparently happened when folks came to his yard and asked him for money. He only had $40, so he was taken. Now, this sort of thing is apparently unrelated to terrorism, according to authorities in Niger and from the U.S. Defense Department, and is most likely simply a situation of hostage taking for ransom, that sort of thing. That is quite common for decades in Latin America. It's been the scourge of Latin American businessmen and even just regular folks who wind up being kidnapped.
I look younger now than I did then.
For ransom, oftentimes ending in
Although there's
sentence.
more color in my hair.
Good news today, though, folks, is that the Defense Department released the following information in which they said that U.S. forces conducted a hostage rescue operation during the early hours of 31 October in northern Nigeria to recover an American citizen held hostage by a group of armed men.
Wow. That's a Wayback Machine there. But then here's the one I did tonight.
Hey folks, welcome back. You know, I've been reticent to talk about this story. I did cover it during the COVID political scam of 2020, 2021 a couple of times on here on my original channel. And I talked about this briefly because there were reports about massive fraud taking place in Somali-run charities in Minnesota. But YouTube began to censor channels that reported the facts. I really... the refugee program making me gray. No, I think that just the calendar turning over is what made me gray, not the refugee program. Yeah, I think it's just a calendar turning over. Well, that's why you have multiple people do it, Arctic. CPR, you will get a response from emergency services in less than 10 minutes to where our location is. You have to have more than one person. One person who's fit can only do it for about 90 seconds normally. You are correct about that. Paramedic certification, I will come and be the Veterans Club AED. Okay, Loretta, thank you for that. Yep. Told me I must be safety rep, then made jokes about us sitting having tea at meetings. Fire wardens abandoned a colleague in a wheelchair on a fire. Wow. Elza Hubbard wants to argue with me saying, nope, not 90 seconds, 2 minutes. Okay, so you're saying it's 25% longer than what I said. I said a fit person. Well, Arctic, you're talking about a very different thing. 45,000 feet. I'm not talking about 45,000 feet. I'm talking about at sea level. I'm talking about on the ground. It's a very different situation on the ground. You're right. You do need that on a plane. Planes have to have those, absolutely. And for an airline, that's a cheap expense. Well, for a commercial airline, big one anyway, big carrier. But for everyone else, it's a big expense. $1,500 is a lot of money. $700 is a lot of money. Yep. You're nitpicking. I know, Elsie, you're nitpicking with me. But I mean, my point is pretty accurate. See, that's the rugby jersey I want without selling my kidney. Well, that's not a jersey. That's a jacket. Yep. Yep. And now that you slim down a bit, Arctic, it might fit you. When did you publish it earlier than we only view now, perhaps? Huh? Maze, what do you mean? Yeah, clubs and bars ignore the occupancy limit. That's correct. Just like taxis, exactly. Phillips Heart Start AED. Okay. 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 Is that the one that's on Amazon? Let me see. $1,600. Damn. That's not cheap, man. Wow. The business one's $2,000. Gee, many crickets. My goodness. Batteries. Well, the battery's only $205. That's good. The other ones cost a lot more than that. $2,090. $1,622. 8-year warranty, 4-year warranty for battery, pads, warranty until expiration. Okay, well, there you go. 4 years for the battery. That's good. Okay. Oh, the difference, that one is paramedics. Okay. Scissors, response kit, AED wall sign, ready to pack. I don't need $2,000 for that. Okay, we can just get the one that's $1,600. $1,600. Okay. Wow. When you do your, for maritime, you need to renew your firefighting medical cert every 5 years. Oh, Ingrid, I'm sorry to hear that about your husband. Yep. Yep. You guys tried to do that. Wright was roped in twice on a flight when a medical emergency occurred. Super hectic seeing her in action. She's now the man of the house. I know it's amazing. It's amazing when people react on planes. You get some medical people that jump in, and others that just try to ignore it and hide. When I was in distress on a flight, they call for doctors, and I got a podiatrist and then a pediatrician that came back. The internist just rolled over and went to sleep because he didn't want to be bothered. He came back later when he woke up. Here this morning, as I've been working, I created something on animals and rescue program if you're interested. Okay, snippets. All right. Didn't a fire in a club in Chatsworth cause the death of a lot of people, school kids? I don't know. I don't remember that. Are you talking about Paris Dakar? I don't know about that. So Iran says that regime loyalist was killed, and so now they're angry. Hardliners have promised a harsher crackdown of protests spiral out of control. Demonstrators in Tehran. 21-year-old regime loyalist died after he confronted demonstrators as unrest over economic problems took a violent turn. A regime loyalist in Iran died Wednesday after he confronted demonstrators over unrest over economic problems. Shame. Iranian officials have said they will address the economic problems that brought demonstrators to the streets for a fourth straight day. Following the death of Saeed Golkar, an associate professor at the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga, Falls, Iran warned of a mass crackdown as soon as possible. Whew, not looking good there, man. Not looking good. What is the route this year? Okay, you guys talk about that. How are we doing here? 780 views. What's going on? That's kind of slow. I thought we'd have more than that by now. 153 people here, though. That's pretty cool. What are you doing on likes? 125 likes? Okay. And $0 in Super Chat revenue. That's because I was late. You guys are punishing me. Yeah, no pun intended. It's obviously not an Arab Spring because Persians aren't Arab, but I get your point. Well, we had that opportunity under Obama, and he sat back and let them be crushed. I don't know if Trump will allow them to be crushed. He will run out of those. We'll donate to Colonel's Western Province in Bulls jersey. Huh? What did Phoenix say? Oh, he's going to put out his shark jersey burning ceremonies. That's funny. Yeah, you can break ribs with CPR. You got to be careful. Oh, give it until 8. Okay, well, I'm not going to be here till 8, Kasigi. That's. I'm tired. I can't hang around that long. Plus, I'm hungry. The last day off before they have to work again. Ah, that's what it is. They're sleeping in. Yeah, epilepsy is something to deal with too. That's something I don't have the skills. I haven't had to deal with epileptics. You can't come in the military if you're an epileptic, so we just don't see that sort of thing. I gotta go shave. It's driving me nuts right here. Got a few loose ones there. Driving me nuts. Arctic is on fire. Yes, Charles, he is on fire. Burning down the house. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is really early. That's true. It is only 6:21 in South Africa, but we just usually accustomed to seeing more people here by now. But let's take a look, folks. I'll see if I've got my 2025 stats are finished for the year now. I don't know if they are. I think it's going to take another day before they get them tidied up, but let's take a look. 2025. I don't want December 25. I want 2025. 2025. There we go. Let's see if we can't get that. Come on, YouTube. Get your data together. All right. 2025. 32,796,000 views. 2.7 million hours. And 99,186 subscribers, according to this. Yep. Not too bad. Pretty consistent viewers, except when I went to England, it kind of dropped off. So from September 14th, yep, 30,000 views. And it was down at that level all the way through November. September, October. I was punished for 3 months because I went to England and I had the IP address in England. Wow. Whereas when I went to South Africa in May, I was also punished. April and May. Where's May? 45,000 per day. But then it shot up while I was there. I was getting 200,000 per day. Yeah. So it got better while I was in South Africa, which is unusual. Usually when I'm in South Africa, it doesn't do very well. 1 or 2 fingers, something like that. Let's not discuss medical stuff unless we're EMTs, guys. Okay. I've never delivered a baby. Never delivered a baby. Yep. Yeah, to see people miss my live streams in England. They miss my prepared videos. They miss my rugby broadcasts, which were a real challenge to do because I had to do it off my laptop and I'm off my mobile. Definitely slowed down the momentum. It did. It did, Future. It looks bright. It really hurt badly. The UK trip hurt my channel badly. Which is a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, I can see a clear drop off here in that graph. So, hang on a second here. Okay, let me just do a graph and show you. So, I'm going to make a graph here real quick. Oh, look at the first 226 chat. Hopefully soon I can do it in dollars. Thank you, Loretta. At least your phone is fixed. Or is that, I get the wrong Loretta? I have the wrong Loretta, I think. Sorry. Let me get this up. I can find this real quick. Okay. I'll show you what it looks like. Downloads. Come on. Should be getting lineups now. It's now Friday. Where's our line? Or Thursday, excuse me. Yeah, it's almost Friday. We should be getting lineups for this weekend's games. Okay, where the hell is it at? I just saved it. Refresh. There it is. There it is. Okay, YouTube views. Here we go. So this is what my year looked like in 2025 for YouTube. So you can see some really low at the beginning of January, and then it picks up. There you go. So January, you see very low, and then at the end of January it begins to pick up, and I picked up 15,000 subscribers in January. Then it got into February. Got better, better, better. Big spike in March. And then it dipped in May when I was, I'm not sure why it dipped there. It picked up again in May while I was in South Africa. And then from May to September, it was consistent. But then September, it went off the rails. September, October, and into November, it was crap. It wasn't until mid-November we began picking up again. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, Loretta, I want to make sure I have the right Loretta. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It was very loud. People were very loud there. I could hear them talking. Yep. There you go. So that's the one day I had almost 450,000 views in a single day. That was crazy. That's May. That's not May 21st. May 21st I had over 300,000 views. Yeah. So that's how the year looked for. Now the subscriber chart is a little more depressing. It's good, but it can also be depressing at the same time. Let me explain why. Okay, where the heck's that? So let me go to subscribers. Okay, here you go. Let me show. This is going to just be depressing. You'll see the shadow banning clearly in effect here. Clearly in effect. We're getting lots of views from people, existing viewers, but new people not finding the channel, and I'll show you how. Watch this. Okay, you're going to see that it's very slow at the beginning. Okay, so let me pull that up. So here's the subscriber count. Now check this out. Look at the difference here. So subscribers, January, almost nothing. Look at that flat line. It picked up in late January, and then it was consistent all the way through May, July was okay, but then from July, August, September, October, November, it's just pathetic. Look at that. Look at that. Nothing. Nothing. We're getting about 3,000 a month, but there's even a couple days of lost subscribers in there in September and October. It's crazy. The refugee drive assisted, but Arc Precision, that's not the full story. The full story is that my channel began to grow because of Knobs and Keezy. It wasn't the refugee thing. The refugee thing kept the momentum going and accelerated, but what started was Knobs and Keezy. In December, I had stopped making prepared videos because I was putting a lot of time and effort into it, and I was only getting a few hundred views or a couple thousand, and it's not much return on investment. Return on investment not being money, but people getting the word out. So I stopped doing it. But then Knobs and Keezy insulted and assaulted colored flight attendants on the fly staff air flight from Durban to Cape Town, displaying their ANC black supremacy arrogance. And that I made a video about it, and it got 50,000. I was like, wow, people do care. So I started making those videos and covering that story. And that's when it took off. In January, I got 15,000 subscribers. I had 20,000. By the end of January, I had 35,000. So that's, I nearly doubled the size of my channel in 1 month. And then from then the refugee thing was announced on the 7th of February, and then it took off. And I hit 100,000 on June 4th. So from December 31st to June 4th, I gained 80,000 subscribers. From June 4th until now, I've gained another 39,000 subscribers. 39,000. No, wait, no. 20, excuse me. No, not 39, 20. Yeah. So, yeah. I had 100,000 June 4th. Since June 4th, I've got to 119,000. No, that's right. So I've gained only 20,000 in 6 months. Yeah. Yeah, Siki found because of flight attendant. Only became a member, I think, in June, July. Yep. Yeah, thank you, Knobs and Keezy. Knobs and Keezy is what sparked life into my channel that was just hanging on. No, that's what really started. And then Nota Boloy's stupidity also, and then me meeting Nota Boloy when I went to DJ Sabu's place. That was hilarious, man. It was hilarious. I wasn't expecting. I felt like a bit of a sabotage or ambush. But yeah, they talk about Cyril Ramaphosa being ambushed. I was more likely ambushed at the DJ Sabu thing than him being ambushed. Yeah, no, Knobs and Keezy is what started. So yeah, I gained 15,000 subscribers in 1 month in January. Then I went from that till June. I gained another, so that's 35. That took me, so I needed another 65. I gained 65,000 subscribers from February 1st to June 4th. So you see, that spark started before the refugee thing. But then it tailed off. And since June 4th, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So in 7 months, I've gained all of 19,500 subscribers. That's a little over 2,000 a month. Yep. Yes, the dumb decisions of the South African government, their stupidity are playing a big role in continued viewership, but not getting new subscribers. Yep. We're not just hanging out, we're exclusive. We are, we weren't, yeah, we were exclusive. Yes, Hardick, but it was turning me gray. Thank you for the super chat. It was turning me gray and undermining my hip and aging me. But Knobs and Keezy sparked new life in the channel. She really did. That's where it started, folks. Pat's been around since mid-2023. Well, thanks, Pat. See, we didn't even know you were here. Yeah. No, Knobs and Keezy had a big impact on the channel. And this year, for the first time in the years I've been doing this program, I will turn a profit on my channel. After all my expenses for flights, for hotels, for vehicles, for petrol, for attractions, for hosting things, all the money I spend on IT, for cable, all that put together, for the first time since I started in 2020, I'll actually make a profit this year. Yep. Now, I won't be buying a car, but I did make a profit. I had salt and pepper hair then, Arctic. Yes. Yeah. I'll actually make money this year. Yep. Hermanus says, thank you for not giving up. Well, Hermanus, yeah, I didn't give up. No, look, I had an awesome audience here. Dylan Kumbrick and Erica, Hendo, Arctic, Ronell, Wirebird, Ruthie. She's not here much anymore. It's just so many people that just were here. The ones that I don't understand is the ones that betray you. They don't like what you have to say. We talked about it earlier today. People who don't like what you have to say when you say something one time and then they run away. And that's fine, that's private. But then they badmouth you on other channels. I don't understand that. Yusuf Abermanji, what's going on now? Well, I wasn't attracted to South African affairs, Camembert cheese. I was attracted to Africa, and South Africa being part of it. What the hell's going on here? An old white man robbed. Let me see what Yusuf says. Bloemfontein, in broad daylight. An old white man assaulted and robbed. Wow. At least they didn't kill him. They just walk away. No consequences. Look at these punks. This is South Africa. It's not a country. This is no longer a country. At least he has his life. I mean, at least he has his life. I mean, that's insane. This is South Africa. Broad daylight. Yep. Wow. Broad daylight. Yep, that's South Africa, folks. That is South Africa. My goodness. Wow. And that guy doesn't look like he has any money. He wasn't attacked because he has money. He attacked because he's white. That's why he was attacked. Unbelievable. When SABC and DSTV expect to pay premium price to recycle trash and it repeats, YouTube becomes the upgrade. That's how I landed. Colonel Wyatt finally found some actual content. Thank you for that, Heinrich. And we love having the German surname, Heinrich Geneda. Yeah. Failed state, no question. Yep. That behavior's already been normalized, Sven. No reaction to it whatsoever. He won't go to the police because he knows nothing will happen. If he'd been a black man walking alone like that and an easy target, an elderly black man, he probably wouldn't have been assaulted there. Come on, be honest. Well, Monray, no. The IRS warned me last year. They said that continual losses year after year will lead to an audit. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I'm building a business here. I'm not making money from it. So what am I supposed to do? Anyway, yeah. So hang on a second. Reload this. Why is that showing up here? That's not right. There it is. Yep. She's a lady. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I don't want to quibble over that. But the fact that police don't respond, that doesn't change anything. That's the case. Why is this not showing up? Why am I not seeing this video? Here it is. I'm trying to send that to somebody so I can send it myself. Okay. Yeah, the IRS already knows. They know everything. SAP's useless. The mate's house is robbed. Cops came, did the thing. 2 weeks later, went to SAP's for progress. They told him, sorry, if you can't get info, then... What's that? Hey, Neff. Yeah, audits for the, but not for the Somali. First time when I heard someone pronounce Mexico correctly, they mostly flaw with Paris and Moscow as well. Well, there is a correct way to say it in English and a correct way to say it in French. In English, it's Paris. In French, it's Paris. In Russian, I think it's Moscow. Could be wrong there. So when you say it correctly, there's a difference. Some places have an English name. Some places, like South Africa is South Africa in English, but it's Zuid-Afrika. Anyway, police are a joke. Yep. Silver Mercedes stop and wind window down was a bit suspect. I regret moving toward the car to ask what they want. Honestly, usually that would be a fine in another country, not here. Yep. 4 southern banks that removed ATMs countrywide so you can't withdraw cash. All your transactions will be electronic and tracked. Well, that's crazy. It is a bit airport. I think the behavior is already normalized in South Africa. Well, the informal economy does deal in cash, but now it's also moving in other ways too. So, all right, how are we doing now? We're up to 151 or 971 views. Okay, we got a little bit of super chat. Who gave that super chat? Did I address the super chat? Mad Max, 35 Rand. Thank you for that use of Aubergy and Arctic. I also addressed that. Not just hang on. We were exclusive. Yeah, it was like members only, wasn't it? It was like a members only jacket, Arctic. Back in the day, this channel was like members only jacket. By the way, Arctic, I mean, how many hours have you got flying? What are you up to? 45,000 hours you got? I mean, I'm just curious. How do you fix it? Martial law, exactly right. Armed community patrols. You're correct, Mark. That's how you do it. And prosecutions. There's no deterrence. You see, they just walked away. Nobody's going to stop them. No one's going to intervene. They didn't even have guns. At least he didn't get murdered. I mean, that's thank God for that. But I mean, that's just thugs, and that they get away with. There's no consequences to their actions. They don't care. I mean, me personally, I can't stand touching someone else's phone. I feel dirty touching someone else's phone with all their stuff on it. They don't care. They just factory reset the phone and go from there. 9,000. That's a lot of hours, man. I was genuinely asking the question, but being a little facetious about the hours. 45,000 hours is insane. 9,000 is a very experienced pilot. I would get into plane with you, at least until you break out the scotch and soda, but then I'd ask you for you to land the plane immediately. Wow. Yeah, Capitec is the bank, guys. That's the one. Why are security companies getting flack from the government? What, over taking their firearms away? What are we talking about? How are they getting flack from the government? All right, I had a few more things to talk about on the news front. Talked about Iran. Several people have been killed now in these protests in Iran. Yep, that's getting worse. A volunteer security official was reportedly also killed during the clashes as Iran slips deeper in economic crisis. Unrest, which began on Sunday, has spread to other cities. Several people have been killed in Iran with growing social unrest, according to reports on Thursday. 3 people killed in Azna, in the neighboring province of Loristan. Wow. They are not happy in Iran. China's Xi says that reunification with Taiwan is unstoppable. Well, we'll see, buddy. Taiwan's lay pledges to defend national sovereignty after Beijing holds live fire drills around the island. Chinese President Xi Jinping has pledged to achieve the reunification of China and Taiwan, calling Beijing's long-held goal unstoppable. Well, I'm going to go short of saying I pledge the end of the Chinese Communist Party, but go ahead and try it. What will be the end of the Chinese Communist Party? Yep. Drink a lot of whiskey, a lot of hotels. Well, Arctic, that's because we've got friends in low places where the whiskey flows. Several people killed in protests across Iran. This one's out of order. How do we get in the wrong place here? It's the same story. Okay. Finland. That's supposed to be Finland. That's why. This thing is the wrong place. It's supposed to be the Finland story. Yeah, Finland seizes vessels suspected of damaging. Mad Max gave another super chat there. Okay. Suspected of damaging undersea cable. Yeah, I was with Africa Command. What's about Africa Command? Okay. President of the Republic of Somaliland hosted U.S. Africa Command General Dagvin Anderson, U.S. Deputy Ambassador Justin Davis. Okay. Okay, how do we deputy ambassador to Somaliland when we're saying we don't even have Somaliland? You know, the media said that only Israel's recognized Somaliland. But how can we have a deputy ambassador to Somaliland? It can't be right. Where is this guy deputy ambassador to? You can't have a deputy ambassador if you don't have. That doesn't make any sense. Don't want to get a copyright strike with that crazy music. Yep, definitely a British product. Look at how they're that high step and goose step and British marching style, which damages the cartilage in your knees. Yep. So that's the Africa Command commander. It's an Army general again. He has no combat patches. That general's never served in combat, and he's got a 4 stars. Never served in combat. Never served in combat, and he's the commander of Africa Command. That guy served in combat with Africa Command. How do I know he's never served in combat? He doesn't have a combat patch on his right sleeve. Anyway, thank you for that. That's interesting. I will use that video. So, but I have to take the sound off of it because I can't play that goofy music. I'll make a video about that. Okay. No, I'm saying that because I've served in combat. So, anyway. That's the point was there. Interesting. To the people and leadership of Israel, thank you for standing on the right side of history. Thank you for recognizing potential success that many who once called themselves our brothers and sisters choose to ignore.
My name is...
Oh, it's all Somaliland, man. Here we go. This is good. Let's play this one.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My name is Captain Usman Abdi Heibe on the Somaliland National Army. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the men and women in uniform here in Somaliland and the people we proudly serve, we extend our deepest gratitude to the State of Israel. It is government under the leadership of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and to the people of Israel for the historic recognition of the Republic of Somaliland as an independent and sovereign state. This moment conveys profound meaning for both of our countries. Somaliland and Israel, a nation is forged through hardship, resilience, and sacrifice. We have faced relentless opposition, powerful adversaries, and sustained efforts to deny our right to exist in peace and dignity. We have confronted terrorism on multiple occasions, proxy wars, economic blockade.
Yep. Now I'm going to make a video tomorrow. That's what I'll do tomorrow on that video. By the way, we have a refugee interview tomorrow at 10 o'clock with an anonymous refugee. So 10 o'clock my time, that will be 5 o'clock South Africa time, will lead into other broadcasts. Yep. Yeah, that was a pretty high-tech, microphone stand there. The guy holding the 2 mics. Oh, my goodness. It is a bizarre beret. He's got it pulled down. It's kind of weird. It's a beret stretched out. I don't think he knows how to wear it properly. Oh, yikes. Well, future looks bright. I've sat across from military officers from African militaries in Liberia, Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho, Namibia, Eswatini, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Liberia, Nigeria, Cameroon, Uganda, Malawi, Ethiopia, Tunisia, Morocco, Senegal, Niger, Mauritania. Get the picture? I've sat across from military officers from all those countries and many more, but that's in those countries. I've also sat across the desk from military officers from all those countries, from more countries in Africa at conferences. Yep. Refugee interviews coming in thick and fast now. Nice to see people confident come on and share their stories. That's another reason why I did this. Someone had to break the floodgates, and the same with the Stoltz family. Someone had to break the floodgates. Let me see what they're doing now. They wrote back to me. Hang on, they sent me another voicemail. Hang on. Can't do that. You'll hear it on the computer. I got to play it here. Silly me. Silly me. Okay, let's see. All right. Hang on. All right, folks, that was the Stoltz family. Sorry, I just kind of do that privately so that they hear what's going on. Okay. Enhanced drugs to enhance performance. Oh, you're talking about the Germans. They took amphetamines, uppers. Yep. Which debit order won this year? Huh? Yes, Garrett, Liberia. I rebuilt the armed forces of Liberia. What are you talking about? Never been a proper army. You're just coming in thick and fast now. Yes, they sure are. And we'll have more. We'll have the Stoltz family on. Yep, Stoltz family we're doing some stuff. Don't have military officers in Africa. They only dress up as officers, says Buster. I can recommend the Aces of Aces about paddle, huh? Right. Oh, this is good. Check this out. This is an image they put together. I love this. Somaliland versus Somalia. Terrorist attacks since 2008. Somaliland 0. Somalia 10,768. Free and fair elections 11 since 2000. 0 since 1968 in Somalia. Homicide rate per 100,000 0.8, 5.6 to 6.8. Aligned with USA, aligned with China. Foreign aid, nothing. Somalia gets $26 to $33 billion from the U.S. Privacy tax, none, 200. Yeah, that says it all, man. That's the graphic right there. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Wow, reward success. I agree. You've heard me on this channel forever say that I recognize Somaliland as a republic. I've been saying it forever. I've been saying it the entire time I've been on this channel. I've supported Somaliland. I recognize this country. I've recognized it for over 30 years as a country. But I'm not a nation state. I'm not a nation state. But I've been saying it forever, man. Yep. This isn't new for me. Once again, I'm ahead of the curve. People are now starting to pay attention to Somaliland. I've been talking about it for years on this channel. Yeah, Somalia, South Africa has a higher homicide rate than Somalia. That's correct. How many Somalis get deported? None. The only one I want to see deported is Ilhan Omar. That's not true, Neil Yarbert. The highest scoring ace in World War II was a German, Heinz Ulrich Rudel. Highest scoring World War II ace. Highest scoring World War II aces. Oh, Eric Hartman. Sorry, I got it wrong. Eric Hartman. I thought it was Ulrich Rudel. Well, the problem with Ulrich Rudel is that he destroyed tanks. They didn't count that. Eric Hartman, 352 kills. Gerhard Barkhorn, 301. Gunther Rahl had 275. The highest British Commonwealth was Marmaduke Paddle. Hartman flew the the Messerschmitt Bf 109. So here's a list of highest scoring aces according to this site. Not the highest Allied airmen. So the highest ones all the way down this list, according to this. Germany, no one other than Germans had more than 100 kills. Finland got 94, and credit for another one. Japan got 80, one guy. Here's Russia. Japan, Russia. I haven't seen Allied ace yet. Croatia, Mato Dubovic. U.S. Thomas McGuire got 38. So that's Allied. UK 36, Jamie Johnson. Adolf Giesbert Milan got 35. It's the first South African I find there. Pat Paddle. Okay. Let's see how many you got. Sometimes known as being the highest scoring British Commonwealth pilot of the war. If all claims made for him are correct, this total could have been more than 51. It can be stated this final total was at least 40 and could exceed this number. Logbook and semi-official records suggest this figure, while personal attachment to the squadron says suspect the figure is closer to 60. 26 of them were Italians. So that doesn't even count, man. Shooting down Italians is like shooting at turkeys in the sky. Anyway, yep. So he was killed in action in 1941. He probably would have had a lot more. Wow. Off of Greece. Wow. On dawn of the 20th of April, 1940, the Germans were well aware British Allied forces begun preliminary withdrawal operations from ports in southern Greece. The Luftwaffe made substantial attacks against these departure points. On Sunday, the 20th of April, the Luftwaffe mounted mass attacks against Allied shipping in Piraeus Harbor. On this morning, 5 o'clock, large formations appeared over the capital Athens. The remaining Allied fighter units in the area committed themselves to defending the Allied ships in what became known as the Battle of Athens. Barely 15 Hawker Hurricanes, the entire Allied air presence in Greece at the time, participated in a series of defensive missions over Athens. Paddle had flown several patrols that morning, was suffering from a high temperature and fever. He had downed a Ju-88 and 2 Bf-109s in a morning interception to interdict German air operations. One of his victims crash-landed at Larissa. His success took Paddle's total from 47 to 49. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, another raid approached. He was seen just before the air raid alarm in the mess, lying on a couch, shivering under the blankets. He was detailed to take patrol of the lines, but during the mission briefing, around 100 German bombers with fighter escort attacked the capital. He ran for the doors towards the Hurricane. His adjutant, George Rumsey, tried to stop him, but Paddle was determined to fly. On his way to his fighter, he narrowly avoided being killed by a strafing attack by a low-flying Bf-110. He took the skies minutes later, climbed to gain altitude, and headed for the harbor at 20,000 feet. Wow. He engaged the Bf-110, knowing he would likely be followed and attacked from behind, succeeding shooting it down in flames, but not before it had fired at point-blank range into his Hurricane. He died when his fighter crashed into the harbor. Oh, no, it was woods. Paddle avoided German counterattack and climbed. Paddle scored a victory. He saw a lone Hurricane. Surviving records show the German claimants, including Staffelkapitän Hauptmann Theodor Roosevelt and Oberleutnant Sophius Bagot, who were credited with kills against Hurricanes, taking their scores of 12-14 respectively. Bagot would be killed in action within a month. It cannot be known for certain which one shot Paddle down, since the other 3 German pilots made claims to the battle. Huh. Thomas Maguire died in World War II. He had 38 victories. Top American ace. Johnny Johnson had 36.91 victories. Credit to him. He died in 2001. Adolf Giesbert Milan from South Africa died in 1963. Had 35 victories. 35. Yep. Anyway, there you go. Must be impossible to become an ace post-Vietnam. No, we've got, yeah, it's hard now, but we had Vietnam aces, that's right. I think it is hard to become one now. Sir Pierre von Rensfeld were once serving the Royal Flying Corps. He distinguished himself as fighting. That's pretty wild. That's a pretty amazing story there with a P-51 reconnaissance squadron. Yeah, there are a few pilots who became an ace in a single day. That's true. I didn't know he stole a plane, though, Bruce Carr. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, Goering was an ace, and he was also thin, World War I. Yep, that's why he was in the Luftwaffe. South Africa's homicide rate of 45 per 100,000. Yeah, compared to 8.5 in Somalia. South African Air Force is one of the oldest in the world. Yep. 25 fighter aces worldwide post-Vietnam, almost entirely from Iran-Iraq war. Yep, that's true. Aren't many of them. That's why the figure's so low. Shooting down 5 is an amazing figure. But 350 planes, 350 other planes you shot down, the guy must have felt like he's invincible after shooting down 350 planes. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. When you think about it, that's crazy. That's crazy. Something else. So I did a video earlier this evening, folks, about being responsible when you're in America as a refugee. And there's a reason I did that video, and I'll just keep it at that. If something comes to light, I will talk more about it later on. But if you were here now on the morning of the 2nd of January 26, my audience is currently here, almost 200 people. You will know that if something breaks in the news, there's a reason why I did that video. I'll just leave it at that, okay? Yep, I'll just leave it at that. Alrighty, guys. All right, we've been at this an hour and 40 minutes. I need to get something to eat and hit the rack. We've got a 10 o'clock refugee interview. I'll set that up. I hope you guys can tune in for that. This will be an anonymous refugee interview. I thought today was going to be anonymous, but it was pretty cool that Ben and Lynn had the courage to come on screen. It was awesome. Yep, so we're up over 20 refugee interviews now, and we're still going. All right? Okay. You guys have a good night. God bless. Maze, I hope you're feeling better. And hopefully you'll get that treatment here shortly in January that you need. People come off their holidays. To me, they should be providing care all around the clock. I guess I'm just a little old school. All right, guys. Cheers. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye. Yes, one of the refugees may have misbehaved. That is correct.